Hello, my friends. This is Jennifer of Brooms by Jenza and the head witch of the Broom Witch Academy. And today we are going to be making a Gemini inspired hand broom. So if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do. I have a whole series on hand brooms that are inspired by the Zodiac. We started in Virgo, we will end in Leo, and then I'll come up with a different topic on that. So this is not a tutorial, this is a demo. Some people just like to watch these to watch them. Awesome. Some people like these to learn, and I can think there are people out there who by just watching can learn, and this way, the demo way. People who've been making a while, yeah, I talk to my hands. People who've been making things for a while are going to get a tip or a trick or inspired. So again, it is a demo. If you end up liking how I teach or how I speak, check out the Broom Witch Academy for my courses. And then I do have the Broom Closet, my private Facebook group, and all the links are in the bio. So let's get making the Gemini broom. Okay. So Gemini is the twins, right? Represented by the twins. So I don't think I've made one of these yet, or if I had, it's such a long time ago and it's already sold, and I probably only made one. But I've been hearing people pop up lately, or seeing them pop up, like, how do you make like the double hand brooms where you have like a hen wing and a hen wing and then they come together, or a turkey wing and a turkey wing and then they come together. So that's what we're going to do today. And what's kind of crazy is that, again, I don't remember really making one. If I have, it's a long time ago. So I'm taking an amount of broomcorn that feels very thick in my hand. It's probably a little too much. I'm gonna make it feel more manageable. So if I was actually using this, how much do I want in my hand? I want a little less. Okay. All right, that feels like a handful. I'm taking a handful. And now I'm going to divide it into two. So we are in the season of Gemini. So like spring, spring is here. There is no doubt about it. At the end, summer will come and we will go over into Cancer. Gemini is a air sign, mutable air. Air can be, so Gemini can be blue, it can be yellow. So we're going to go with undyed broomcorn because that is yellow as I can get it, and we're going to go with the blue twine. The numbers that are associated to Gemini are 3 and 5. It rules the third house of the Zodiac. So with that, we're going to break this into 3. We're making this really simple. Why are we making this really simple? It's dinner time and I didn't eat yet. And I also want this as short and sweet as I can. Okay, so I'm dividing as equally as I can into 3. So where's your Gemini? My Gemini is my rising. So I'm a Gemini rising, meaning that's how I present. And the Gemini, I think it presents in me as, so Gemini is about communication. It is ruled by the god, well, the planet Mercury, which is also the god Hermes or Mercury, depending how you want to go. All right, so I'm taking one of my thirds. Here is, all right, so we're gonna teach a bit and then we're gonna like talk a bit. We want these to be mirror images of each other, like as twinny as we can get. So where I start this one, I should start the other one. So I feel I need some kind of judge on that. Okay, do I? You know, right when you think you have a ruler near you, you don't have a ruler near you. But we have this. Okay, so move my tips to there. I'm going to start my band at the beginning one, the front one. Remember that. Someone remind me. No. So we're going to start our band there. And this is where we're going to put in the 5. Let's get this tighter. So Gemini twins, we're mirroring. Mercury is the planet that is associated with Gemini, and that association also is the god Mercury, aka Hermes. Talk a bit about him too, but god of communication. Just think communication, right? We've done 1 twine. I'm not dropping it all the way to the floor. It's going under here. All right. So we're going to go 5 times. When I loop it, the first time, that is 2 strands. So this will be our 3rd. I'm going to count when it goes to the front. My little flapper is my back. So 1, 2. Okay, so that was 4. 1, 2, 4. And then, because I'm a chatty, I'm going to tie off before adding my next section. And that will be my 5th. So we're incorporating 3, we're incorporating the 5, all magical numbers. Also, when I'm doing this, I should be setting my intentions. So my intention would be for communication. And making sure this comes through on YouTube or wherever it's being shown very well. So, my 5, adding in my next section. I like to plug that in the back. I'll cut it off later. If you watched me for a while, sometimes I'll take my sections and I will put an elastic right there. I'm not doing that today. And I mean rubber band for you people who are not in Rhode Island. Okay, so this one's going to be a true 5. So Hermes is the god of, did I say that right? The god of communication. He's also the god, I love him so much. So let's pause here for a moment. He's the god that can go up to the sky and down to the underworld. And so he's like, so did I mention I'm an herbalist? Maybe sometime. So I'm also an herbalist and I garden by the planetary associations. So plants that are Mercurian, who are associated to Wednesdays, which are associated to Mercury, a lot of times they'll have hollow stems. It's one of their things, and just think about it because they can go up and down. They're also some of them will be very fragrant. Think lavender. And that is meaning like they can be everywhere at once. You see it over there, but you smell it here. So it's like it's kind of everywhere. I don't know. So Mercury is just communication god. Where is it in your chart? Find out where it's in your chart to see, like, what is it ruling? For me, it is ruling, I think, like family and education, which makes complete sense. All right, 2. Sorry, pull. 3, 4. And remember, our 5th is our tie off. The tie off is a great place, again, to set some intentions. With this twine, I do wind. I'm keeping everything secret in my head while I'm thinking. I know, can you believe that about me? So this Gemini energy I have, I think it's funny. So Gemini is rising. So things you need to know about your zodiac if you do not know already know. Your sun sign. What month were you born, or when were you born, and that's your sun sign, right? And then you have your moon sign. So your sun sign is like your, I just feel like that's your foundation, like that's your core. And then your moon sign is how you work emotionally. And then there's your rising, aka your ascendant. And that one is all about how you present. I present. Jen, you're on YouTube and you're talking and about brooms. I present as a extrovert, but I'm an introvert. I know, it's hard to believe. Okay, we're going, I gotta count. You know me. So 1, 2, can't pull the thumb any longer, 3, 4, the arthritis. And we're going to bind up. We're going to make sure this is not coming behind. All right, want to make it look even. Thank you. Now we're going to tie off. Okay, yep, so that was our 5th there, tying off. All right, beautiful. Okay, so we're nice and tight. Yeah, so I present one way, but I'm really another way. Now, for those of you who like magic and did leave a little tie, you can always do some knot magic. Now, what are your intentions for this Gemini season? What are your intentions for how you have to communicate? I like to do things in 3. So my intention for the season, my intention for communication, get me to the right people. All right, my little secret's in there. You heard some of it, not all of it. So tucked in there. I love this color. You know who's reminding me of the girl with the pearl earring? Like, is that the blue? Anyways, I like the blue. Kind of matches what I'm wearing. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It's got some painting features that I like. So I've done that. I'm going to jump once, my thumb. I'm going to put a jerk string in and tie off. Did not have a jerk string ready. Luckily, that's not a problem. Again, we're just making 2 simple, and then we're going to bind them together. Not rocket science. All right, so thumb is what I want to go up to keep it even. And that's going to be 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. I got the jerk string and then I didn't put it in. Oh, Jennifer, I'm overthinking things today. It's okay. That's what, it's beautiful. You can just start again. So 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, then we're going to cut and pull. So Gemini is the Aries is I am. Taurus, which we just came out of, is the I have. Gemini is I think. Right? I'm thinking, I'm learning. And I might be teaching about what I'm learning. All right. All right, and I'm just going to cut that off right there. Done. All right, so we got one little one. Let's get this one done. See how even we can make it. We could have gone up 5. I'm just trying to do something little and petite. Size my thumb, break it in 2. So we talked about your rising, find out what that is. So let me know, are you Gemini? How does Gemini present in you? What are you passionate about talking about? If you have a lot of Gemini in you, do you use it for, are you the thinker? What do you want to learn? Do you have that part in you? Or has anyone ever said you're a chameleon? Or, again, think the twin. Part of that is sometimes a Gemini or someone who presents Gemini can have this duality. Sorry, I just have to tighten this up a little bit. A little bit was bothering me. They have this duality. You can successfully juggle being, I don't want to say being two people, because we are all multiple, multiple faceted. I think that's the word I'm looking for, right? I work in corporate America by day. Though I do think a lot more of my witchy broom person is coming out there, because I'm in my 50s now, and I'm like, yeah, this is who I am. And then, but I'm in the garden playing in dirt. My honey the other day, I told him something. I said, I did something. I'm like, I was playing in the mud. And he just laughs. Like, of course I'm playing in the mud. But in corporate America, my hands are clean. I'm not playing in the mud there. I remember I was in management when I was young. And I remember being out and about, my clubbing days. Okay, 1. And we counted that as 2. I got to count 3, 4. The 5th one is our tie off. So out and about, I've sent Denny's, right? Like after coming from the clubs. And one of the people I managed came and saw me, and she was like, Jenza, like you're like 2 different people. It was like the 90s. I'm probably wearing like combat boots and flannels. But, at work, I was cute 90s, like boss girl outfits with heels. But back in the 90s, we had square heels. I don't know. Right? Like, I was 2 separate people. All right. So now I want to make sure we are, oh yeah, we're even. I think that's what keeps me from doing this style. If I get it wrong, I'm going to get it wrong, and it's okay to get things wrong. Yeah, so the evenness, especially when I get chitty chatty. Okay. Here we go. 1. Inhaling broomcorn is a hazard. Yeah, so keep that in mind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we tie off. Do you need to tie off? Now, if you're working from the floor, you do not need to tie off. Why do I tie off? Because I get distracted. Another Gemini quality where we try to do a lot of things at once. Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's, I wonder how many Geminis, like the people who have been diagnosed with ADHD, and I know I'm not like saying that all correctly, whatever, attention disorder, whatever you want to say. Those people that you just say, oh, they have ADHD. Like, I wonder where Gemini falls in their chart, how much Gemini they have. So yeah, something to think about. Now, the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius, which is also about learning, but I think learning in a different way than a Gemini. I think a Gemini is not as, okay, hold on, we're counting first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we tie off. So Gemini just is, I think, is more of a curiosity, and a Sagittarius is more of a focus learner. That's my opinion. Remember, I'm a broom maker, not an astrologer. I just like to play with it. Okay, we went up once by a thumb. Making sure we're going on the right side. Yep, we're going in the, we went up from that side. I have to get it to it where it goes from the right area. Let's adjust that a little bit more over there. Okay, now we're in the same direction, up a thumb. So wait, what this? Don't like it. Okay, let's think. We're thinking. I think I want it to be the opposite, right? What if we went this way and that way? I think we're in the same puzzle there. I want it to be the opposite. See? Look at, I told you I would mess up. There's a reason I don't like this one. So here's our issue. We don't like how they're about to come out. But I'm adaptable. So what are we going to do? Don't you worry. I got this. I'm just going to do my thumb, do my 5, and then watch what we do. Okay? It'll be all good. So who says what it has to look like? Who says what it has to look like? Who says, don't forget the jerk string this time? Like, are they always going to look the same? Is there like a formula? No, as long as it's sturdy afterwards, we can make it completely different than ones we've seen. Sometimes if I'm going to try something new, I usually like build them in my head before I would go live, but that's not fun at all. Oh, Gemini, Gemini. You know what I'm doing after this? I'm going to unpeople. I don't want to people too much. I'm going to go hide somewhere. 1, which is 2, 3, 4. Let's tie off. What is the season of Gemini to you? So Aries was new beginnings. That was a fire sign. Taurus was the earth sign of I am, right? We're teetering into kind of spring, and we're thinking about the earth is waking up. And like Gemini, we're looking at now, and like everything is green, everything is lush. I mean, not all the flowers are out yet, and if you probably haven't planted your vegetables, well, actually now you can start that. Frost is over for most, unless you're watching up in Canada, and I don't know what goes on there, or Alaska. I do know I have some Alaska people. Yeah, but okay, we got the 2. We want them to come together, and I am not loving some of this. But what do we do? What do we do? We're going to wrap more. So let's get an elastic around these. So Gemini, right? Everything is lush, everything is green, but it's not that hot summer yet. Oh, it's a great time to be outdoors. What's in the wind? What's carrying things in the wind? The wind of change. Soon it will be summer. But it's comfortable now. The birds are out and they're tweeting, communicating. All right, so here we go. This is it. We're going to get this solid together. I'm going to put my little, and that will be in the middle after. I'm going to get rid of it. Boop. Tuck you. I don't want to tuck you. Go that way. Yep. All right. I want as tight as can be. And I'm going to get rid of that after. Twins. Okay. Anecdote. You may or may not know, I have twins. And with that, I thought it would be really cool if they were Geminis. They were due early July, but the first day I went to, or night it was, but does it matter was it day or night, Jen? No. So the first time we went to the little baby classes, and we went to ones that were special for multiples. And the first thing they did was bring us up to the NICU, because they're like, yeah, this is most likely where you are going to be, in the NICU, because these babies, multiples, will tend to come early. And so I'm like, ooh, if they come early, they'll be Gemini. And the second week we went for class, like we had already lost, like a mom and a dad, and we saw that like they were already in the NICU. So this seemed like, yeah, this is what's going to happen. These kids are going to end up in the NICU, right? I went to 38 and a half weeks, people. So they were not Geminis. They are crabby little Cancers. My soft, mushy inside boys with their hard exterior. They were born on the 4th of July. You should check out my 4th of July brooms I made. That is a YouTube video. So I want this really tight, tight, tight. I know I can usually get it tight just by my hands if I wanted to, but sometimes especially for my thumb now having the arthritis, it is better to use it as a foot. So I'm just twining this all the way up. So this is what's being called a doubled wing hen. Did I mention that yet? And we're not counting. We're just twining until it looks good. Winding and winding. Yeah, I call twining, winding, winding, twining. Maybe with all this communication energy I have, it is, I'm getting so much at once that needs to come out. Maybe that's why my speech sometimes is kind of off. Let's admit it. All right, I went too tight. I got a knot in it, and that happens. So we're going to patiently hold that there, put the glasses on, and get rid of the knot. It's not so much of a knot as it just doubled up on itself somewhere. There we go. Okay. And we're winding. And we're winding. So next time I would make this smaller, my 5 up here. All right, we're going to learn from my mistakes. This is not going to be beautiful and perfect. Was it supposed to be? Were you like, you're on YouTube, it's supposed to be beautiful and perfect? I don't know who you think I am. This is going to be interesting. These are all made on a whim. I have the general idea of what I'm going to make each time. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. What am I going to do? I do know I want to tie this off. Sounded like a zip line. I liked it. Getting my pinky in there. I say it's not my best work. But that's what practice makes perfect on. I wanted to do the 3. So we have the 3 jumps. But I think it would have been better with 5. I think I would have given it a little bit more. So we still have our another little secret in there that we can cut up. I want this to be a little long. It's reminding me a lot of wheat. So I'm actually gonna do a jump up. I mean, I could keep on going, but I want to jump up. So we're going to jump up, do one more bit. Okay, that was 1. We're going to go down the ground. So 5 and 3. So if those are the magic numbers. So what is 5 and 3? 5 and 3, well, it could be 8, but I'm going with 15, right? I'm in a multiplication kind of mood. Let's do 15. At 10 is where we're going to put this in. Okay. So 1, always pull my halves. 2, pulling on my half. 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Putting in our jerk string. I want it in the front. Probably better in the back. Front, back. Which way do I want the front and the back? It's really like it's either the front or the back, right? They're kind of exactly alike. Alrighty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I didn't tie off. You don't have to. I like to, but it's not a have to. So I'm not going to this time. But what I need to do is I'm gonna add a Gemini charm. I want a little Gemini charm. So let's cut. Use the little floss. Now, if I tied off, I wouldn't be like, oh, like trying to do everything with one hand. Like hold that and hold that while we thread that, right? If I tied off, I would have both hands and that would be nice. Okay. So we get our little Gemini twine, Gemini charm, the twins. So Gemini rules like the hands and the arms, which is probably why we talk with our hands. All right, let's pull this. Let's give it a jerk, give it a rip. Do you call it rip cord or do you call it a jerk string? I don't think there's like team jerk string, team rip cord. Like I think it's interchangeable and it's fine. Ooh, and you know how I like to hang. So that's nice. That's going to be a little secret knot. My secrets. Oh, if you knew what I was wishing for. All right. I was wishing to start over. and this would be out perfect. Because there's some mistakes. There's some little details that I'm not loving. But, you know, should I point that out to you? Or should I just like, be like, it'd be fine. And it is fine. I'm overcritical. That is okay. Oh, you know what we didn't do? A hanger. Does it have to have a hanger? Does every broom have to have a hanger? No. It does not. So if I want it little, I'm going to cut it here. I don't feel it's, if I cut it low, I don't feel balanced any longer. I'm adding another row without a jump. Is that gonna bother me? I'm counting up high. If you see my new little tool, eek, it's a PVC cutter. I'm not quite loving it, but I'm not quite hating it. We're in between with it. The other way is not good for the hand any longer. We're making accommodations. It's fine. It's less work on my hands. I'm going to keep these hands as long as we can good. It's cleaner. Okay. I'm not hating on it. I think it's kind of cute. I think these bands could have been longer, like, or thicker. So I went with 5 because we're doing numerology. I keep on seeing this painting in my head, and it's the girl. Is it the girl with the pearl? I don't know why it's making me think of that painting. Is there any paintings that this makes you think of, and why am I going insane here? But that's how you would do a double broom or a double wing. Like, so if you're doing the turkey wing or the hen wing, that's one way. It's probably not the only way. Okay, that was kind of like, look at me. No. All right, Jen, stop being silly. There's this thing lately where a lot of people are like, look, it stands. Well, if I cut it, it will stand. Do I want to cut it? No, I want this as an altar besom. I want it to flow more. I don't want to cut it. So it's not going to stay. It stands. All right, my friends. I hope you enjoy the season of Gemini. I want to know what you're making, what you're inspired. Did this inspire you to make the double one? Because you're like, oh, if that girl can do it, like, we totally can do it. You're not gonna have to make some more of these because I feel it could get done better. I'm overthinking. That's my Virgo moon. I'm overanalyzing. So, anywho, my friends, have an amazing Virgo Gemini season. I'm not going to edit this out. You know that, right? So have an amazing Gemini season. Enjoy the remaining days of spring. What's coming in the air? What communications are you downloading? Oh, so much out there. And I'm just going to shh. And I'm going to leave you. Please subscribe. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.